on the chart? What is this? What is this madness? Oh. What have we got here? Oh, roadmap roundup stuff. That over here. Oh, the Cloud Imperium Games website's down, which means I can't show financials from 2018 if I wanted to. I'll save that later when it comes back online. Let's do that. Look at the maintenance today. If anyone would like to ask a question in brackets in the chat, let me pull it out. But no, pull it out sounds a bit rude. You know, whop it out. Oh no. BRB, I'm just gonna bio and then we'll start. That's how you know. That's how you know you're getting old. That's how we start the streams, and me sitting down in a chair. Ah. Right. Knock that volume down. It's an okay volume, I think. You might be seeing maintenance complete, but your eyes deceive you. Let me put my glasses on. Then we'll start the stream. I'll start the stream and then we'll put my glasses on. Look, bam. Yeah, my head's a bit shiny. What is going on? Why is my head dissolving? I'm so shiny today. Wait 1 second. Let's sort this out. Should we turn that? Yeah, we go. Now my head doesn't dissolve. Perfect. Hello. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. Hopefully that music is not too loud when it goes live. Should be pretty good. Should be okay volume. Tell me if it goes a bit weird. So, what's over here? What? Oh, that was on the HUD of the Carrack. It confused me a little bit, or whatever ship we're on. Maybe not a Carrack. Maybe a Carrack. I don't know. Oh, let's. I know why I can't see properly because I haven't transformed this to fit to screen. Okay, that's better. Much better. Right. So, we're on Pisces. Why did I say Carrack? I know what I meant. Just came off the Carrack. So we're looking at some of the CitizenCon 2019 footage in the background. So I'm hoping that we will have some more missions appropriate to New Babbage and Microtech in 3.10. Because we've got Eddie Parr as well there as the barman there. They've got their barman tech, the long-awaited barman tech for 3.10. It's exciting, maybe, I don't know. It depends how good that AI is, or is it just a set of animations and they've got a load of cool animations now. So you said you saw maintenance. Someone said they saw maintenance as completed on the status page. So. Let's bring this up. It says, maintenance today, RSI maintenance, website updates completed, additional infrastructure work ongoing. So they are still working on it a bit more. So over the last few days, or over the last 2 days in fact, they've been updating some of the RSI services and platform stuff with just some critical infrastructure upgrades, they said. Now, we know that they've been working on some more stable services and redundancies for Star Citizen to try and avoid some of the issues that they had at Fleet Week with people not being able to log on and the 16,007/15,007 errors and hopefully less 30Ks, things like that as well. So servers, or at least parts of the back-end services won't crash so much, causing more problems compounded with server instability and people not being able to log into their accounts, people not being able to access their ships, things like that. So that's hopefully going to be a boon for 3.10 with a more stable back end for it. The more redundancy for services, the better, in my opinion. But you can always go to status.robotspaceindustries.com to see what's going on at the moment. We do have degraded performance, and that's because there's still performance issues with live service disruptions from the 31st of May. So there was lots and lots of problems. I've done a video on it yesterday, looking at the service and server and back-end problems that CIG faced with the 3.9 branch and Fleet Week. So check that out if you're interested. I want a refund because my head dissolved and you're missing bits. I'm sorry, it's sold as seen. I'm a delicious potato boy. But yes, so I hope everyone is doing well. And you're not going to cray-cray in lockdown. So there's some stuff I wanted to talk about today. We'll talk a little bit about Alien Week. Literally just had a video go up on what's happening this week in Star Citizen, and a little bit of sort of like a stab at what we think Alien Week is. We've got some information on it, but very, very limited. But I mean, we can sort of elaborate on it a bit. So Alien Week and First Contact Day is starting. Well, First Contact Day is this Friday, and that starts off Alien Week. So we're assuming sale, or I'm assuming a sale for the most part. Maybe some competitions as well, but probably that's it. Probably not an in-game event beyond a sale. Maybe some concepts or some straight-to-flyable stuff. But we'll talk about that in a second. If you'd like to ask a question in brackets, I'll try and pluck it out from the crowd. Do you feel that Theatres of War will make it into 3.10? No. I think Theatres of War is effectively separate from any other major patches they release, so they can release Theatres of War on their own schedule during 3.10 or during 3.11, doesn't matter, doesn't need to be released with. Do you see what I mean? And Theatres of War requires more work, and they're probably going to have a couple more at least Evocati tests in my opinion, and then open it up to more people for PTU tests before going live with it. At least that's my understanding of it. You can see in the AMA they've talked about it a bit. Evocati just tasted it and tested it last weekend, and I can't really talk about the specifics of those Evocati tests beyond they were testing Theatres of War, and it will be in more players' hands when they think it is viable to do so. But the sort of things that they're trying to get polished, for the most part, is like netcode and animations and latency and lag and things like that, so that it's a fun enclosed experience that doesn't suffer from super low frame rates or super low latency. Well, super low latency would be good, but high latency and or pings and things like that. So they're getting there. We'll get some more information for sure in the coming weeks. What do you think actual stealth gameplay will look like for stealth ships in the future? So it's going to be about managing your signature and the environment. So ships will have signatures which can be detected by passively by radar, but also actively by scanning. So if you're looking for a particular type of signature and you've got the right type of scanner, you're more likely to detect something. Beep, you can put it in sort of like a more focused beam. I think the idea with scanners is, so you can go, I'll scan there or I'll scan there, and if you hit something with that signature, it'll go, oh, there's something over there. You see that at the moment with the little scanning blips when you're like searching down for probes, or you can see it with ships as well. But I expect that to get a lot more love, better UI, and a bit more sort of like focused with each individual component on the ship, when we have physicalized components, generating a different sort of like signature, which will then compound together for your full ship's signature for whatever IR, EM sort of signatures. And then you can choose to have your systems off. You can have sort of like extra armor or stuff around systems, or lesser systems, things that generate IR less, EM less, things that make you less visible from that. And as long as you're managing your systems correctly and not running everything on super high power overclocked, you might be able to swoop in past someone, then not detect you on the passive radar. Maybe they would detect you if they were looking for you in a very specific area with a scanner, though. So bear that in mind. And it's going to be basically like that. There's going to be environmental sort of noise as well, so you can hide behind asteroids and things like that. But that's the sort of ideas behind stealth gameplay. You can avoid detection if you manage your systems and hide behind environments and terrain. But someone can equally, if they're scanning for you in a particular area, like they might spot you visually, but they might not be able to lock onto you, so they might have to ping to find you. See what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's quite exciting. And I think that's going to lead to a load more stuff with exploration as well. Stealth mechanics and the enhanced scanning mechanics. Stealth and enhanced scanning is incredibly important for the game, but as is physicalized components and things like that as well. Is the key map for HOTAS in the user folder, so if I delete, I have to assign the keys again? Yes, so you should only delete your shaders folder, in my opinion, or copy your keys / bindings before you delete your user folder. The reason you want to delete your shader folder or your user folder is to minimize problems with the game when you update it, is the idea. But it's just the shaders folder really, I think, is the one that causes the problem, so I delete that. Any feedback from CIG yet if they're opening up more ships for sale and rent, and what their plan is? No, not yet. I'm hoping that they give us an update ASAP, because basically what this is that some ships are flyable in-game, but you can't purchase or rent them yet, and some ships have been like that for quite a while. So I would like CIG to be able to have those ships in-game as soon as possible. Now, they might say, oh, it's because they're waiting to put it in an appropriate shop, but they can have it on the consoles, in my opinion. And I don't really want to see, even at the most extreme, any more than a quarter, so 3 months of exclusivity for like something like the Carrack or a new ship comes into game. Cool, people that have bought it, they can have it for a quarter, and then it should be available for everyone to purchase / rent in game, in my opinion. I think that sort of makes sense. During the Sabre concept, its weapons were supposed to retract into the hull. Do you think we'll ever see that? I think that's entirely off the table. Did you catch any of Mike's stream today? No, I did not. I've been busy today. He reacted and recorded his reaction to Noob's load about lifetime insurance. Mike strongly disagrees, as you will find out when this YouTube video goes live. What is your view on Noobs? What Noob has uploaded? I don't think I've checked it out. I've been really busy over the last couple of days, mixture of looking after my parents and working on a couple of other projects and doing my taxes because I want to get them all sorted for last year's taxes because I'm becoming a limited company at some point this year and I'm setting up a pension. I'm really busy at the moment, so when I'm not streaming or creating videos, I'm working and I'm not sleeping very much because I need to get all this work done, and I want to get it done before the end of June if possible, so that I can then concentrate on 3.10 is the idea. And obviously Zin needs some guidance to know exactly what she's supposed to be doing and what she needs to learn before she starts working for me properly. Also, I've been building lots of models, so show you what I do when I'm trying to chill out. This one's 99% completed, and I need to redo the arm on. So I've got some Adaptus Titanicus Reaver Titans, which are fully magnetized. You can pull their arms off and their weapons off and stuff, and their middle bodies off. So they're Legio Metallica. It's 40k stuff basically, but that's the stompy new epic one. And also I've got this big boy which I'm building, which is a Cerestus Knight. It's got big old legs. Big. I'm not. I'm not. Beep beep. Also going to be holding a Captain America shield. I found that there's Captain America shield replicas online, and I was like, they are perfect size for a Cerestus Knight. Let's have one of those of them. But hopefully at some point I'll be playing some 40k with John Crew and some of the Foundry 42 staff. I'm sort of like, once we have lockdown over, I'm building an army at the moment. Yeah. But yes, so I've just been super busy, and my room is a fucking shit pit. But I will check out Noob's upload and Mike's video, and I will maybe we can start getting a conversation on the go, because I'd love to participate on something like that isn't sort of like YouTube against a creator drama based. If it's just sort of like, I'd like to weigh in on this conversation in general. I like that sort of thing. I don't want to create drama. I think that's sort of bullshit. Like, oh, what's your response to my drama? Oh, this is my response to your drama. I hate that shit because that's so it's sort of disingenuous. But if they're having a conversation because they disagree with stuff, or I love that sort of thing. And I think both Noob and Salty Mike, I always want to call him the artist previously known as Twerk. I think they are both mature and reasonable people. So cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'll have a look. What's your thoughts on insurance in general? I want to see the expanded insurance systems that we're supposed to have in game before talking about anything else. Lifetime insurance, I don't really care much about. I think lifetime insurance is just going to cover the base of your ship, the base hull, which you're going to want to not just have covered. You're going to want to have all your weapons that you change and your systems changed on your ship. Let me turn the audio down. Boop. Bloody Squadron 42 music, eh? Or whatever, it's that combat music, isn't it? Yeah. So sorry about that. Sorry if that was a little bit too loud. But yeah, so with insurance, I think lifetime insurance isn't that big a deal. The reason for that is because I think that you're going to have to insure the changes to your ship if you want them insured, which is going to be like your systems and your weapons, and I think they're going to be significantly more valuable than the base cost of most ships' hulls if you've upgraded those systems to like A class or B class military components, or the sort of best in class components and the top tier weapons and things like that. I think they're going to be incredibly expensive, and you're going to want to insure them. So I just don't think that lifetime insurance is that big a deal. I think you'll be able to get insurance that you'll pay for on a monthly basis for your ships or whatever, all within game money. It's not talking about out of game money, a very, very small amount, very, very cheaply, effectively. So I don't think it's a big deal. But I'll have a look to see what they said, and I'll see if it's worth wading in. You know, it's extra content. I noticed some ships have escape pods. What would CIG put in the game to compel you to run for your life if you can just die and respawn? So there's going to be death of a spaceman eventually. So you are going to be risk and rewarded by not dying effectively. Eventually, if you die too much, you will perma-die and you'll have to create a new character, although you will be able to transfer the items and your assets to that new character. But you don't have to worry about that at the moment, obviously. But there's going to be more incentives, effectively, there's going to be lots of incentives to not die. And with physical components, your ship's going to be more likely to be disabled than just explode as well, in most cases. So you're going to be like, well, I better escape now. Which ships do you own and which concierge rank are you? I've got lots and lots of ships. It would take me a whole stream to go over my ships. But I think I own pretty much all the industrial and economy ones, other than the Hull series. And I might pick up a Hull series at some point. Probably just a Hull C, though. I've got Bandit Merchantman, that's the trader that I wanted. I'm not a particularly high-tier concierge. I think I've spent about $3,000 on my account. Well, actually, with giveaways, it's probably a bit more. Probably closing in on 5,000 spent. A bit random. What was your job before making Star Citizen content? I worked in restaurants. I ran kitchens and ran my own sort of takeaway and businesses and stuff like that. It was very stressful. That was very stressful. This is a lot less stressful and a lot more fun. And I was briefly the sort of like full-time carer for my brother before sort of like just sort of part-time caring for him. So it was a nice transition. Have Cloud Imperium gone into clarity what you'll get access to concerning Squadron 42 if you have a Squadron 42 digital download in your RSI hangar? Not in full detail, no. I believe you get access to electronic access, which I believe is going to be Star Marine, Arena Commander, and I would assume Theatres of War. But I don't have a fully committed statement from CIG about it. After being bored, when do you think AI crew might happen? So they're building the core computer systems to allow for AI blades at the moment, so they'll be able to put modules in turrets, and potentially they might have some other uses as well, these AI blades. Maybe they'll be able to passively... like run systems, like maybe they'll be able to like scan and things for you, enhanced scanners, I don't know, but we know they're going to be able to at the very least control turrets in some sort of way based on what type of AI blade they are, based on your computer slots in your ship. So this is one of the advantages the G12 has over other rovers. It has a computer slot for AI blades, or some sort of computer blades. So that's the sort of first AI we'll have in ships and vehicles, most likely, is these AI blades. They're building NPCs out a lot more at the moment as well, and AI in general, but they're probably a little further off. When I say a little further off, probably at the earliest, if you were lucky, end of next year, you might see NPC crew, but I think that might be too early even. Hello, is the server down? So at the moment, they're doing some additional maintenance to the RSI services, so bear that in mind. They might be up and down. Thank you very much for the... Prime sub, very much appreciated. Oh, thank you so much. New star. Do you still plan to recreate the in-game food? Yes. Yes, that's a thing that I want to do. I need a little bit more time to do that. And we will be doing the in-game food at some point with recipes. I'm not sure what format it will take. If it will be recipe pages or if it's going to be a video, almost certainly be a video or a live stream. We'll see. I need to talk to Zin about it as well. Hi, Board. It's me again. DJ Brown, thank you so much. How can Star Citizen be considered a game if it's not going to be any... There's not going to be any tree punching mechanics. There might be tree punching mechanics. So I would expect that we'll be able to harvest wood one day. Maybe. Maybe not with fists, though. That's a good point. It's not a game without that. How can I craft? Got no crafting. Spacecraft. That's a good name. Mindspace. Mind Citizen. Boom. Thank you so much for the lovely donation. Thank you very much, DJ Brown. You star. Skylark, thank you very much for subbing as well. Mwah. Oh, you stars. Thank you. When is 3.10 released? So at current, it's expected to be released for the end of June. At least that's what it's roadmapped to do. There could be delays. We'll probably find out if 3.10 is going to be delayed at all at the end of this week. Sort of like if there's any planned delays anyway. And then I would expect from next week onwards, you'll start to see Evocati and then wider PTU builds going out for the end of June. And at least at the end of June, I would expect at the moment to have at least a PTU build out to everyone. But I think they're still planning for the live build. We'll have to wait and see. Do you remember what CIG's original plan was regarding allowing players to play as alien races? Yes, they said eventually they probably would allow players... Well, okay, so for the short to mid-term, no playable alien races. After games were released, they might allow you to play as other aliens. They wanted to have it in the game, but that was a long time ago they said that. I would expect them to probably allow for playable alien races as well. It makes sense, but not until far into the future. What would you guess is holding up the ability to resell items at, like, say, 70% of the value to vendors? At the very least, the iCache system. They need to be able to track all of the items in game, their value, and what's going on with them. They need all these sort of databases and back-end services and these microservices all built out, which they're building at the moment. So at the moment, they don't have the back-end and the iCache to fully support that. And then when they do, they need to be able to make sure that that stuff's all tracked properly. You're seeing these systems being built now. We're seeing the financial app in 3.10 as well, allowing you to send Alpha UEC to another player, which is absolutely huge. I know it's quite a simple thing, but it gives Alpha UEC value, really, to me. So, Skylark, my Shadow PC virtual machine was finally provisioned today. I'm working now, but plan on trying it later. Tell me what it's like for you. I'd very much like to see that from you, Skylark. A lot of people tell me they love Shadow and everything, but I'm interested to get more in-depth sort of like feedback from people, and if there's anything that they can do as a service to improve. Because I'm happy to shill for NordVPN and Shadow because I like their services, but I always want to understand how to get them improved for Star Citizen players' needs, because then I suppose I can effectively get more people to use those services. But also I understand that at some point those services might not be appropriate to use, or there might be something better. So I sort of like want to get as much feedback as I can. Roger Walker, thank you very much for the donation. Very much appreciated. Do you ever think that there will be underwater gaming mechanics, like aquatic ships, underwater bases, etc.? So they've just put in water shader stuff, and they've got water reacting to wind, and they want like a fully physicalized sort of like wave model. They did say they wanted water exploration at some point, but again, it's not high on the priority. So I would expect some form of aquatic exploration eventually. Does that mean submarines? Does that mean underwater bases? We don't know. Probably in the far future. Most things you can think that would make that Star Citizen can expand to after it's released probably will be considered in the future. That's one of the joys of Star Citizen. But yeah, so we don't know exactly what underwater gameplay we're going to get. We know there's going to be swimming. We know there's going to be potential for underwater mechanics, but we're not sure exactly what. Elijah Anderson. Elijah? Cal Anderson. Perfect. There you go. That works. Thank you very much. That's a lot of money. Morning there, Board. Nice to catch you. What ship are you looking forward to? Well, forward to the most? So I quite like the Carrack and the Reclaimer, which we already have. I want the Reclaimer to be able to use its salvage mechanics, because I want to be treasure hunting. I love the idea of treasure hunting. The Carrack, I love the idea of exploration. It's sort of like, it's kind of a bit like treasure hunting, isn't it? But I love the economy and stuff. So I suppose in the medium term, I'm looking forward to the Banner Merchantman, with being able to have shops on it. Obviously, I've got a Javelin as well. There's a lot of ships I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to physicalized components for ships the most, so that we can have boarding and things like that on ships. But that's a ridiculous amount of money. Thank you so much. You star. Not sure why I'm doing that. What I miss? Alien Week? Question mark. Money grabs? Shillings? Take my money and have a beer. And I mean a damn manly beer. Or the most manly. I've got some Coronas in the fridge. That's how manly. That's how manly my beers are. Thanks very much, Shite. Very much appreciated. Oh, you star. Thank you so much. I will take your money. I enjoy that. A Tavern-themed Titan suits. Little bird heads. Little beaks on. I quite like the Aves helmets, actually. I don't think we're going to see Tavern-themed Titan suits. Maybe the Tavern... they haven't talked about anything like that in lore. I don't think we'll see stuff like that. I would love it. I also want to see Titan suits. Titan suits are one of my things I'm most looking forward to in the game, and I think like people like Sean Tracy are as well, because it's mech warrior. It's big stompy mechs. Well, medium-sized stompy mechs, armored stompy mech suits, little mechs, tiny mechs, power loaders. Oh, thank you very much for all the money. You stars. Thank you. Right. Let's grab... Oh, no. There's so many things up on my screen. Right. So, apologies if I miss your questions. Feel free to re-ask them a few minutes later. Don't just keep on spamming them, because I'm going to be so far behind in chat. Do you think alpha testers should keep any progress they make into the beta and/or official release? I'm okay for a big reset. I don't think they need to, in my opinion. I think that what we need is at some point there to be no more resets confirmed, and I'm sort of happy with that. Because Star Citizen's not going to be fair with its what people start with and everyone being on the starting page. So sort of like bear that in mind as well, because people are able to buy ships. Don't you think it's ridiculous we still don't have a stable game to play basic missions after 8 years of development? No, I don't think that's ridiculous. The reason for that is because Star Citizen is very much an alpha, and that's why you don't have that. It's not a playable game. It's not supposed to be a proper playable game. It is a playable alpha with what that entails. And for me, I am able to grind and play a load of missions and not have any problems while I do that. So I know obviously some people have a huge amount of problems. I don't, and which is why I'm able to produce content very often on Star Citizen and get lots of B-roll and stuff. Although I suppose I do reuse a lot of my B-roll. No, if the game was released and it was in this state, that would be awful, admittedly. But it's alpha for a reason. And obviously, Squadron 42. Once Squadron 42 comes out, if that's a pile of shit, then I think we can all have a conversation. Pie! Are we going to be able to build our own bases or platform? It would be amazing to build our own organisation home base. Yes, you're going to be able to build outposts using the Pioneer. There might be some other ways of getting outposts or other structures on planets maybe in the future, but the Pioneer, once it's released, you'll be able to plop outposts down, build them. They're going to be used for home bases, we assume, for people. Also you're going to be able to get physicalized hubs and hangars in like different places like ArcCorp and things like that to rent for your org or yourself. Any news on the Orion? Nope. No new news on the Orion yet. And that's that giant mining ship. It is one of my ships that I'm excited for. If Alien Week sells alien ships, are we going to expect to pay alien tax as well? Yes, expect to pay the normal fees that you would pay for alien ships. What I mean by that is that alien ships have typically been overpriced because they're alien ships in the first place. You're not going to see additional alien tax added, but alien tax refers to alien ships being more expensive, even though there's like a comparable human fighter or something better that's cheaper. Do you see what I mean? Any news on... will radars be an upgradable component in the future? Yes, you should be able to change radars, I believe. Radar love, non-quantum... So, in the future, I would expect you to be able to scan down points of interest and other players. And do lots of forms of detection and stuff like that with enhanced scanning. So finding points of interest, finding players, tracking their quantum drives, stuff like that. That's the sort of expectation I have. Is there any news on when the Hull series of ships will be released? I suspect we'll see the Hull C first. That's what it looks like. They talked about recently that the mechanics or the prerequisites for getting the Hull C in the game, because they've got the Hull C done for Squadron 42's needs as far as we're aware, but they haven't got for the Persistent Universe's needs. As far as we're aware, the Hull C's mechanics and bits they need to get it in the game, they're either being worked on now or just about to be worked on, but I believe they're all being worked on now. And once they're all done, it can be in the game. There's no hard date for that, though. That could be at the end of this year. That could be later. I expect once we have physicalized components, they'll build out a lot more different types of component for things like scanners and more and more systems for lots of other things. I think you're the one that introduced me to Game Glass. I got it, and it's so nice. Game Glass is great. I need to look at it for 3.9. I'll probably look at it at 3.10 now. Dual joystick or single joystick and separate thruster joystick. Dual joystick is supposed to be one of the best options if you get along with it, but it's going to be down to personal preference. I prefer HOTAS. I prefer throttle with my stick. And I can severely, heavily recommend the Verpal stuff. The Verpal Constellation Delta is a superb HOTAS. Burn Fails, thank you very much for the raid. Very much appreciated. Hope you are enjoying Star Citizen as well, fan. I assume that's how you pronounce your name. I was looking at some of your tweets the other day, going through a load of people. What do you think of a new player experience? Would you like to see better starter pack insurance? Let's say 1 per account, 5-year insurance. I don't really care about insurance. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. I think a lot of people are sort of like FOMO hype about insurance, and I think it's just artificially helping promote sales, but that's about it. I don't think lifetime insurance or insurance is that big a deal. New player experience is poor in Star Citizen unless you're traveling with someone else that's teaching you. It's bam. If you're playing Star Citizen by yourself, it's hell. Like, there's no tutorials. Well, you have to go out and find your own tutorials. That's what it is. There's no in-game tutorials. You have to look for someone else's video. You have to go on the website. There's nothing that holds your hand in-game unless you're with a person or an org that does that. I do recommend playing Star Citizen with other people. But obviously there's some great YouTube tutorials like Morphologists. Is there any word on more character creation, more faces, more hair, and more tattoos? They are building them at the moment. You will see updates to the character creator in the future. Did you see the announcement from Elite Dangerous? Yes, so that's Odyssey. They're walking on stations/planets stuff. I think that's going to be cool. But I don't think it takes away from Star Citizen at all. I think it only brings more eyes to the space genre and what Star Citizen is doing. Star Citizen is going to be a lot more highly detailed and a lot better, in my opinion, for that sort of stuff. However, the way that Elite Dangerous did it, by building their core game first and then adding parts to it, so having a full game they released, is a more preferred way of releasing a game, in my opinion. But I love Star Citizen on the project, and once they've released something fully, CIG, once they've actually released Star Citizen, I think we can then criticize the development in a bit more context. People are chucking money at me. Why are you chucking so much money at me? There's 1 billion people watching me as well. Why is this? What is it? Is it because I look like a fucking potato? He's like, oh, look at him. Look at the little potato boy playing Star Citizen and talking about me. Sorry, I don't know. I've got hostile towards my audience. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. One last question. Why don't we have parachutes that far in the future, and our soups don't have our soups don't have parachutes? Delicious parachutes poop. I want to be able to park my ship in atmosphere and go down and steal someone else's ship. Okay, so you will be able to eject in atmosphere at some point and survive. Okay, we don't know if it's going to be parachutes or not. Did they say it wasn't going to be parachutes? In my notes, last time I looked, it said there's going to be some way to survive. And I think they talked a little bit more about it. Recently, we've seen gliders in concept art for like the 100 series. But I'd expect some way of surviving, whether that's just a suit that you can use that braces the impact, whether it's a thruster chair, whether it's a parachute, something like that. There will be a way to survive. We just don't know exactly what it's going to be yet until CIG put it in. An anti-grav thing. There's gravity generators, right? Also, I think with the Elite Dangerous Odyssey walking around stuff and getting your space legs, I think that only gives CIG more ideas, and so stuff that goes wrong with that, they're able to understand what went wrong, and stuff that goes right with it, they're able to, you know, utilize and use that. What else we got here? Sorry that I'm so far behind. I always am, though. Just be aware, you don't need to chuck money at me for me to answer a question. It's just, obviously, those appear on my screen immediately, and I will answer them immediately, because I don't want to miss that out. But it will come to your question, if I can, in the chat as I'm going through them anyway. So please don't feel the need to send me money. And the last time I streamed, people were chucking a load of money at me to answer questions, and I appreciate that. It's amazing. Someone else is just... Thanks. Cal Anderson, you kind of got my name right the first time. Kalijor. 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 In game, I'm known as Telcar. Perfect. Tell. Thank you very much. It's not even a question. You give me $10 for your name. When will we get cargo insurance? We don't know. We're not 100% sure if cargo insurance will be a thing, but I would expect it to be.
35 months.
Oh my god.
Subscribe to you using my Amazon Prime. Maybe it is Jacksepticeye's love for potatoes.
Thank you so much, Hannahcom. Thank you very much for being with me for 35 months as a sub. That's monstrous. I'm so sorry for your loss. Then you think it's... Oh, it's the same one. I love beer gaming. Why you ask the same question? That's because I didn't answer you immediately, and that was ages ago, I see. Do you see roles being implemented with different skill trees, such as scientist, engineer? No, so you'll be able to do all those sort of roles in the game. You'll be able to be a medic, a soldier, or whatever, and that's going to be based on your experience at the game, not RPG experience, not levels or anything. You actual personal skill, as you learn how to do it by using the keyboard skill, and the equipment you have to be able to do that, and ships and all that sort of stuff. So you'll be able to do anything you want, as long as you have access to the equipment for it. That's the idea of Star Citizen. The NPCs, however, effectively have stats, but you don't. You are able to do anything in-game as long as you've got the equipment to do it. Do you believe we'll be able to sell stolen ships to chop shops? Yes, and in fact, we sort of have some of those areas in-game now with the salvage yards on like Hurston and things. So those will eventually be areas where you can sell stolen ships is the idea, and that sort of stuff. I believe. Moshman Gaming, thank you so much. Oh, you star. Thanks for the sub. What else have we got here? Do you think we'll see new Vandal ships in the persistent universe to fly before Squadron 42 is released? I would hope and expect them to update the Vandal ships that were... So that the Glaive and the Scythe, I hope they would get updated for Vandal Swarm and in-game and all that sort of stuff. Because obviously the Squadron 42 updated ones are much, much better. Do I think we'll see more Vandal ships? I think we'll see more Vandal ships. Do I think we'll see more Vandal ships in-game that we have access to fight? Maybe. Maybe we'll see a small tier capital ship or something from the Vandal in Vandal Swarm or something like that. Maybe. Question mark. I don't know. Is the answer to that. I do think Squadron 42's release is within the next year, though. That's what it feels like to me. With my Squadron 42 gut, which has been telling me it's going to be released since 2015. It's got some backlog, that gut. Quantanium mining and the Orion onboard refinery. How will they work with each other? Will the Orion be able to stabilize Quantanium and keep it from rapid unplanned disassembly? I don't know. I would hope so. I would hope that it's able to non-up Quantanium, because otherwise, going to be jettisoning a lot of Quantanium. But I also suspect there might be a little mini game to refining that Quantanium or something, or at least some sort of interactivity. The thing is that we don't have the full plans for what they want to do with Quantanium and mining yet, as it expands out further. Obviously, they've got a reasonably good, polished, sort of like a loop for mining at the moment, but how that will roll into Quantanium and quantum fuel and refining that in the future, that sort of remains to be seen. Mike was contradicting himself with the lifetime insurance stuff. So the thing with Mike, especially if he's doing it live or whatever, or even if it's one of his videos, you get to see his thought process while he sort of like talks to himself about it, which I think is sort of important. You see some of his cognitive dissonance and sort of him working it out and talking about all the different points. So I actually quite like that about the way he presents himself. You know that he's being honest, is what I'm saying, when it comes to talking about these sort of things. And it's real. What do you believe the next concept will be? So Star Citizen Leaks seemed to think it was going to be the Grey Cat mining buggy, the Rock, which is something that was sort of like potentially briefly talked about at CitizenCon 2019, and I think it's a possibility. Whether that could be a concept or straight to drivable, we don't 100% know. But there's obviously some other concepts that were talked about as well: a Cheyenne cargo ship, a Tavern fighter, and a mobile refinery ship. All of which I think could be concepts soon. Obviously, we've got Alien Week starting on Friday, and we'll talk more about this again in a second. But that could see concepts or straight-to-flyable alien ships, potentially with that Tavern fighter or that Cheyenne cargo ship, or maybe other ones as well. Or nothing. Might not see any of that. So, bear with me 1 second, I just need to bio real quick again. Oh, yeah! Oh, my nose is getting... No, don't fall over, I'm stuck. I can announce my return. My didgeridoo. There you go. That's how we announce the return. Actually, what I'm looking forward to later today is Apex Legends, another story mission. So they've got some Apex Legends stuff going on. Oh, thank you very much, Salmon. Salmon. With Trading App, I thought of mining in Klesher and selling those minerals to needy players who want a quick out-of-jail card. Could be good business. So I think the actual... I think what will more likely happen in Klesher is that you all get the merits for depositing those goods, and then you'll sell the merits. So the Trading App for 3.10, they said it will allow you to trade Alpha UEC or merits. So you can just get the merits yourself and sell the merits. Yeah? You're not going to be able to trade the individual goods. You're going to only be able to send that money to people. But I think it's a huge boon for the game having those having that trading app. Oh, Dream Alien ship, and what role would that fill? I think the Banu Merchantman's pretty close to it already. It's that form of trading, which isn't just cargo hauling, literally flying around in with shops making money. I really like the idea of. When the game has been released, what do you think would not be able to be purchased with IRL money? So I think technically everything will be able to be purchased with IRL money because you're going to be able to buy in-game currency. Do you think there will be need for a group like the Fuel Rats in Star Citizen? Yes. Sort of like repair, rescue, and refueling. Players going around and helping players like that. I think very much so. You're going to want players that are literally there to help others. You can obviously make a lot of money doing it as well. Any news on the Banu Merchantman? So, I believe they've basically said the Banu Merchantman will come after the Polaris, is what it sounded like to me. It sounded like there's less concept work to do on the Polaris, so they're going to get that done first. How does it feel to be among the top 5 referrals? So I don't want to do weird flexes here. So the top 5 referral thing. I was the first person to get a javelin, so I was number 1 at one point. And so with the original referral competition, the first prize was supposed to be a trip to Gamescom, and the second prize was supposed to be an Idris M. So I literally engineered to be second on that by not using my referral code and all the things, by using my Patreon's referral code. So I didn't want to get number 1, I wanted to get number 2. But because the number 1 didn't hit the amount to get an all expenses paid, because they had to hit a certain amount to get an all expenses paid to Gamescom or whatever, they instead got the Idris M, and the second place didn't get anything. So I was like, oh, well, that's a bit lame. But I should have read the small print. I think I did read the small print and went, they'll probably hit it. Or they'll probably say they're going to give it to anyway. So I sort of shot myself in the foot with that. I then was the first person to get the javelin, first person to hit 2,000 and whatever. And then I went, well, there's no point in me getting any more referrals, so I just give them all to my Patreons and under my randomizer. So just chuck them in my randomizer with VIPs and Patreons. So like people that have hit a certain level, I was like, as an extra service, I'm happy to chuck you that, because I don't need them. Why do I need them? So I've been giving them to friends and mods and things. And I have been for the last couple of years. If someone threatens my top 5 position, my 5th position, I might put some more referrals into my account. But I don't see a reason to do that. What does it give me being on the top 5 referrals? I'll tell you what, people's annoyance and disdain of content creators get promoted. Okay. Yeah, they probably get promoted as content creators, you are right. When the game has been released, would you think that... no, we talked about that. How do you think they're going to balance the fixed weapons in 3.10? So, they briefly talked about there being some better aiming for them, which is an interesting one. Let's see if I've got that anywhere. Have I got it anywhere on my screen? No. Yes, I do. Bam. So they talked about turret and gunnery improvements and ESP improvements. All fixed weapon changes are independent of ESP. So that's the sort of like light auto aim. No, it's not. So ESP reduces or increases your, well, reduces, I suppose, normalizes your inputs when you're close to the target, so that you don't overshoot or undershoot is the idea. ESP will be improved for 3.10, so that's going to help massively with fixed weapons. They're tweaking the algorithm. The algorithm was the same, but lots of values were tweaked with a focus on PvP gameplay tests. Cool. They're going to add some customization options for ships and turrets. So I would expect damage numbers to be higher. Output for effectively fixed weapons over gimbaled weapons. So maybe you'll start to see a slight disparity between different weapon sizing. Maybe a little bit further apart. I don't really know. But ESP being tweaked will help a lot. And I think they did talk about some ways of having some slightly better aiming, but I'm not sure what form that will take. But hopefully they'll tell us in this week's Inside Star Citizen. I thank you very much for people chucking me so much money at me. It's very much appreciated. And so many people watching. Is there any word on more character creation, more facet? We talked about that earlier. When do you think we will be able to control doors, lights on our ships for security reasons, for example? They're building a permission system for that. I don't know when that's going to be in the game, but you will be able to, as sort of like a security MFD, you'll be able to control that sort of stuff around the ship. Just don't know when that's going to be. Something similar to it, or at least moving towards it, was on the roadmap a little while ago, which they removed. Will there be installable parts in ships such as medical beds and EMPs, regardless of not having them as stock build? So, for some systems, yes. Some systems and some sort of like modules for ships, you'll have modularity to put a big system in. You might have the ability to have some smaller versions of things. Medical beds, maybe. The thing is some things you are going to be able to modularly customize your ship for. Other things you're going to have to put in like a coffee machine or a food machine or some other things that will be able to give you some more functionality in your ship. And other things may require a very, very specific module or port or something that you're not going to be able to have between lots of ships, like a quantum dampener, for example. Only a few ships may be able to have them. Do you see what I mean? But there will be more variety and more choice in the future. Shadow doesn't work with Oculus Rift F. I had it working with... I sort of had it working with my Valve Index, but I didn't finish off getting it working properly. I couldn't get one of the controllers to work. I couldn't get it to... I'll have a look at it later. It was very bodged as well when I was getting it done, because I was going to write a guide on it, and I didn't have time to finish it. Just Bam Bam, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. You star, legend. You powerful person. Do you think modules will be completed soon after the Retaliator base, after the update from the last ship video from CIG? Expect modularity to come at some point. I would expect it to be worked on after physicalized components, and I would expect to see it for some ships, and then sort of like put it in each major patch. More and more ships get more and more modularity. So don't expect modularity this year anymore. It is, in my opinion, anyway. Cetis, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. The Retaliator is specifically stated as an amphibious ship. Is it? I didn't know that. I suppose most spaceships are going to be amphibious, though. Yeah? Why is Cloud Imperium still half the size, 500, 600 employees, of other AAA teams? For example, Rockstar, putting 1,000 employees on a game. I mean, they have the same or bigger budget. So, CIG would need to hire people at a certain rate. So, with Rockstar and stuff, they had those teams already ready to go that had been previously working on other projects they had been working on for the... So Rockstar had been building up a studio for, 20, 30 years or whatever, or 20 years plus. So CIG, 500 to 600 employees working on Star Citizen, working on Squadron 42 and that sort of stuff, doesn't seem too disproportionate to me. I would hope that they're getting more and more and more sort of employees. Once Squadron 42 is released, it'll be interesting to see, do they need all those employees still? Are they? I suppose they could switch a load over to the persistent universe, and then in a certain amount of time switch them over to Squadron 42 Episode 2. But they might just not need so many employees for certain things. But they're still looking for another like 80 or so at the moment, between 80 and 90. How long is the maintenance supposed to go on for? So they just said that its maintenance work is ongoing. Any chance we'll see something about the Kurthak race? Potentially. So the Kurthak, we don't really know much about beyond that they are past Cheyenne space, and they had some spirit wars with them. I'd love to learn more about the Kurthak. Robert Johnston. Oh, it's not Robert Johnston. It was a lie. Robert Johansson. Thank you very much for becoming a BoredGamer member. Very much appreciated. Oh, you start. When do you think we'll be able to pledge again for the 600i? I suspect I think they're reworking a little bit of the 600i at the moment. and I would expect to see it within the next probably couple of quarters. You'll be able to pledge for it again. Definitely at the end of the year in the November sale, though. Any updates on how Quanta is going? Can't wait for the games economy to be kicked off. So, I mean, some of the stuff they're building at the moment is for Quanta, like the iCache and things like that, more robust services for the back end. And even, if you think about it, the finance app is a step towards full economics simulation. So they're working on it. They'll be putting it in game at some point. I'd hope we'd see some dynamic economy stuff by the end of the year. That would be quite exciting. Will they add more elements to third-person view? I'd expect them to have better camera controls eventually. And reasons to have third person, like if you can actually have third person properly when the game's launched, you've got to have a little drone or a camera or something that shows you're using third person. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, you can use it to look around corners, and you shouldn't be able to do that. The year is 999999999 CE. CIG has released Star Citizen in its complete form. Does CIG move to other game projects, or do you think they will continue developing Star Citizen world exclusively? So I think that once they've got Star Citizen and Squadron 42 episodes 1, 2, and 3 out, and I think they'll continue to support Star Citizen, but I do think they will move on to other projects eventually. There will be a big developed game studio, and if they are successful, they will start to operate as a game studio like that, in my opinion. Do you think there will be ship sale discounts upcoming in Alien Week? I don't think so, unless they sell Misk Reliant as like a starter ship package. You'll see, like, if they do sell ships for Alien Week as well, which I suspect they will, I would expect to see ship packages, so multiple alien ships in a package, boom, at a cheaper price. The Sleep, any idea when we can expect fleshed out scanning to show up on the roadmap? I am hoping we get scanner updates later this year. I'm hoping for Q4 2020 we will have more scanner updates, because they are building UIs for stuff like this. They've been working on some physicalized component stuff as well. So I think that part of that is scanner updates and enhanced scanning. I think it's so important to get those things in game for not just detection and general missions and combat and stuff, but also for exploration. When will we see some other aliens in Star Citizen? So Space Cow is probably the first proper tangible alien we'll see beyond humans and Vandal ships. I don't know when that's going to be in game though. How many players per server are they trying to work towards? So players in the same server meshed instance, all the players. That's their goal. Their goal and blue sky thinking is that they'll be able to get all players in the server meshing. Okay, that might not be viable. Quite admittedly, that might not be viable. They might have to have artificial restrictions and stuff, but they want the server meshing to handle thousands and thousands and thousands of players within the same star system. What else have we got? What do you think of the Grey Cat mining buggy being a solution to the Starfarer not being able to harvest Quantanium and instead meant to use buggies and small mining vehicles to get it? That makes a lot of sense. Having little cars that go out of the Starfarer, go mining for it, it brings it back to the Starfarer, and the Starfarer then refines it. That sort of makes sense. So for people that don't know, the Star Citizen leaks talked about the Grey Cat Rock. We don't know what ROC stands for. But that's what they said that their information showed would be a vehicle that's either going to be released or go on concept very soon. There's talk maybe it would be in 3.10. And again, it is just a rumor at the moment until it's confirmed. Will we see something about in-game about aliens? Maybe for Alien Week. So Alien Week, let's bring this stuff up. So Alien Week was talked about in this Week in Star Citizen, and basically on Friday they've got an Alien Races Star Citizen Live where they're talking to all the a huge amount of the narrative team, potentially all the narrative team, and they're going to be talking about Alien Races there. But also that day in lore, in parity with Star Citizen, is First Contact Day and kicks off Alien Week. So start the festivities for Alien Week. So Alien Week. We don't exactly know what Alien Week is going to be, but I would expect it to be a big alien ship sale. That makes sense, right? We do a big sale for alien ships. We had just had the Invictus launch week. That was missing alien ships, and the reason maybe it was missing alien ships is because maybe they've had this alien week planned. So I would expect all the alien ships to go on sale again, and maybe even the scythes in limited quantity. So what ships would that be? That is a good question. I do literally had a video going out about it today. Let me grab my notes. So in my notes, I had the Banu Merchantman, the Banu Defender, the Cheyenne Kartu Al and Santok Yai, the Tavern Prowler, the Vandal Blade and Glaive. Okay, Glaive maybe in limited numbers. The Scythe maybe in limited numbers. The Apoa Nox and Q. And potentially the Misc Reliant series as they sort of like infuse Cheyenne tech, and anything else that infuses alien tech with it is a possibility as well. Could we see the Cheyenne cargo ship or the Tavern fighter? Let me show these on screen actually. Boop, 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 boop. So these were talked about at CitizenCon 2019, and this is the mining vehicle sort of like evolving that was talked about potentially by Star Citizen Leaks, the Breakout Industrial Rock, but small Cheyenne cargo ship, sort of like evolutions there, Tavern Light Fighter evolutions there. I think it's something that we could see during Alien Week. Maybe we'll see one of these go on concept. That makes sense, right? I'm actually quite looking forward to it, because the horn has been blown. I need to get my didgeridoo so it's grabbable. The dropships are super cool, and I'd love to get some missions where you can pick up and draw off NPC troops with them. Any idea if those missions will be in game? I would expect so, yes. Something like that. To be honest, before we get NPC crewmen, I would expect to see NPC wingman / buddies for missions that you'll escort an actual NPC and be able to get in your ship and out of your ship and into another ship and fly a ship and stuff like that. And you might have to like escort them out of the caves and things like that. The sleep, any idea when we can expect? Sorry, we already talked about that. I love your face. Permission to buy greebles from BoredGamer's Banner Merchantman. You can buy anything that's there for sale. That's literally the point. If it's on sale, I'm only going to sell greebles. No. Should I get the Carrack? Get it in game when it's available in game. Like at the moment, it's flyable, but it's not available to purchase in game. I don't think. I love the Carrack. It is one of my favorite ships. If you can just melt stuff for it, and maybe I can't recommend people buy ships to Star Citizen. Although if you've got enough. If you've got monies for it, and you love it, and you're like, it's my money, I want a ship, then fuck it. Fuck it, why not? What else we got? I just want to become a subscriber if possible. So an RSI subscriber you do through the Robert Space Industries website for that Star Citizen stuff. If you want to become a subscriber to my stuff, you can do it through Patreon, or you can do it through Twitch, or you can do it through YouTube, the YouTube join button, bam, whatever. I think there will be a ship sale starting Friday, yes. I think that is very much to be expected with Alien Week. I love the idea of being a professional boom boom pilot. Do you think there will be more distinct gameplay missions for bombers? Yeah, I would expect there to be take out this target at this outpost. Yeah. I actually expect there to be multiple ways of doing it, but one of the ways you could do it is if you had an Eclipse or a Gladiator or whatever, or an A2. So yeah, Alien Week starts this Friday with First Contact Day. quite a powerful fan next to my microphone at the moment, so and my window's open and people are outside. The aircon's not on, but... do you realistically think that there's a chance Crusader and its cloud tech will be released online for CitizenCon this year? So, no, because CitizenCon isn't existing this year. CitizenCon 2020 has been cancelled because of the lockdown and global situation stuff. So, bear that in mind. I do think there is a high chance that Crusader will be done for Q4 2020, though. Any information on the mining bug and the bug that causes rocks to disappear once fractured? I think that's something they can probably get sorted with back-end services and iCache stuff, like quite genuinely. I think that once they have the data there, you won't just have stuff disappearing from the servers. Do you think the Squadron 42 video will come as promised in this week in Star Citizen? What? Tomorrow? No. There's what? There's the Squadron 42 video. We don't know when it's turning up. It will be at some point. They needed to get some more. They needed to get some more footage for it, and they needed to reshoot it. Is what it sounded like. I would expect it this month. I don't think it says it's this week, is it? Yeah, Squadron 42 monthly report repost is what's coming on Wednesday. There's no confirmation yet when that Squadron 42 video update is going to be. The jump point that was in the video we're seeing is the jump point from Stanton to Pyro, but that's what we're expecting in the future with potentially towards the end of this year, but I think more likely early next year now. We're supposed to be having a new system. Last time CIG talked about it was Pyro system for this year, but obviously that was before the lockdown. Where do you think the largest gap / what would you like to see in the community contribution to the game experience that other MMOs may have? I don't know what you mean by that question, really. Sorry. I'm a bit confused. Does a size 3 gimbal mount take a size 3 weapon now or soon? So size 3 gimbal mount takes a size 2 weapon. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, it's because it was a two-part question. Cool Tools, People's Republic Radio, Jack Sexton Trade News. What other in-law things would be great from the community? So I think Game Glass are actually building in a load of sort of like in-law, in-game useful guides and things into their products. There's a huge amount of stuff that we could get eventually, like mission boards, sort of like out-of-game groups, and looking for group stuff. We'll see how the game evolves and see what's viable, I suppose. Do you think physicalized components will come this year? I would hope so. I'd hope we'd have it by Q4 2020. Given the size of Pyro is many times larger than Crusader, Carrack's range seems the only viable option at the moment. Is this a balance thing, or are we expecting ships with longer range? So smaller ships are going to have a shorter range typically than the larger ships. I mean, it is going to be dependent a bit on what quantum drives you give them. So bear that in mind. But yeah, so the larger ships are going to be significantly larger range, or at least have access to longer range quantum drives. So sort of bear that in mind. And we hope to see Squadron 42 beta come out this year. So, the beta won't be coming out to us, to players. It's an internal beta build for the devs. Could they have it finished this year? They could have it finished this year, their beta. But that does not mean Squadron 42 will be released very soon afterwards, because of marketing reasons and stuff. It could be a quarter or two later. Board, when do you think CIG will do another pass at some of the older ships to bring them in line with the newer ones, like the Gladiator and the Retaliator? When do you think they get reworked? I think we'll see light reworks to those ships at some point, but very, very slight lightweight reworks in regards to sort of like shaders and materials and lighting. Probably not even model reworks. Do you think they'll have to redesign the Crucible? I don't think they've fully blocked it out even yet. But I do think it will change slightly from its concept. Do you think the updated Stinger and Glaive will be an Alien Week? I hope so. That would be cool, because I love the updated Stinger, Scythe and Glaive. The Stinger is the Vandal Heavy Fighter, which we haven't actually seen much of yet. I would love to see it, but I don't think... Do you think... I mean, it could be on sale at some point. Explain like I'm 5, what are building blocks? So building blocks is the new UI system they're using to be able to build UIs in-game much more quickly and easily, like magnitudes quicker. So because of that, they can get this huge bottleneck sorted from the game, which is UIs for a huge amount of stuff. It's just a new, better system for building UIs out, and they're converting everything over to it. So you'll see much more tactile systems like this elevator button that you touch, bam, 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 rather than using like any thought system of you hold F, you left click on it, and then it will say, go to floor 1 in your head, and you click on that. So that you actually now touch the buttons effectively on the elevator. Keep it up, board. Take my monies. I will, Ben Gaming. Thank you so much. Yozar again. Appreciated. 3 stars. What do you think about the Terrapin? Probably an overused question, but I'm interested in what you think about it, as it's one of my favourite ships. I like the idea of the Terrapin. I think it's a little bit overexpensive in real money. I like the idea of something that's a bit tough, that's going to be used for scouting and scanning. That's sort of the way I see the Terrapin. So I think it's cool. It's going to be, I think, the first ship to have physicalized components as well. So I've got one. Do you think the cargo decks will help balance mining and trading, or even help link them for multi-crew gameplay? Well, I think yes, but I think that just the general progress of time will also help balance with that sort of stuff. Like, the more systems they add, and the more abilities and things they add to the game, the better it will be for balance eventually. Like, obviously, it's core systems, getting these refinery and cargo decks in game for 3.11 is the plan at the moment. So it's a set of facilities that allow you to do your cargo sort of like transactions and stuff. It's somewhere that you can rent cargo space. It's somewhere you can get cargo-based missions or escort missions. It's somewhere where you can have your cargo loaded and unloaded, things like that. And the refineries, that's the place where you'd probably take Quantanium, but also you can use it to have like ore and stuff that you've mined refined down into other things that you can then sell elsewhere, potentially for more profit, or potentially for crafting and stuff like that in the future. Do you think we'll get rideable animals? I don't think so, but who knows what's going to happen in the future. Pets were supposed to be a thing. Did CIG say anything about progress on docking in general? It seems scheduled for 3.11, but it seems they haven't even started. They've been working on it as far as I'm aware. You saw some of the additional modular docks that they had for Fleet Week, even. Is there any more news about the Genesis Starliner? Nope. That's actually Disco Lando's actual favourite ship, is the Genesis Starliner. Will there be nukes? So, in lore, nukes exist, and I think they said they might have nuclear weapons in the future. What? Did they say they might have them in the future? They exist in lore, I know that. I will look into that for you, Grim Fandom, to make sure They might have said, no, we're not going to have nukes at all in game. But I know they exist in lore. If you had your choice, what environment, planet, or moon would you place the first hostile animal on? And what would it be akin to? Sandworm on Daymar. It makes the rally much more fun. Right? What would the estimated price of the rumoured Grey Cat mining buggy be? Between $75 and $100, probably? Maybe? Will you be able to play in a non-PvP universe? No. Well, eventually they might have private servers / mods for the game, which would be sort of separate to Star Citizen almost. You'll be able to play Star Citizen in systems. So in the actual game, in actual Star Citizen's persistent universe, yeah, you'll be able to go to systems where there are very, 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 very good security and military patrols and stuff, and that PvP is almost impossible to do. Yeah, you'll be able to play that. Yeah, no opt-out options or slider for PvP anymore. But there will be literal systems that are like, there's unlikely that PvP will ever happen here, or if it does, it's not going to ruin your game. It will ruin the other person that tried to do its sort of like day, is the idea, I think. So yeah, Alien Week's terrible. Xenofest. That's what we should have called it. Will there be a variety of missions and things to do without leaving a planet? Yes. They've even talked about like stuff on space stations. If you might be able to like do repair and maintenance on things, do janitor work, refill vending machines. So tedious work if you want to as well. What did you think of the Info Runners on the Cutlass Blue? I can't remember. I did watch that, but I was doing something else at the time. I do love the Cutlass Blue. I love the Ninor lights. I want the Ninor sirens. But the ship needs to be more durable. Do you think we'll see the Reclaimer up for sale this year? Yes, 100%. Well, 99%. It should be on sale at the very least with the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo at the end of November. What else have we got? Do you think we will get full release, feature complete, if not content complete, before or after Squadron 42 Episode 2? I think we will have Squadron 42 Episode 2 first for a full release of Star Citizen. How long to a beta release? Beta release for Squadron or for Star Citizen? Squadron isn't going to get a beta release. It will get an internal beta for the devs, but not a beta release. For something akin to a beta for Star Citizen, really, like feature complete beta, you're talking 2025 now. Like, I think that's relatively reasonable for their current sort of like schedules. Reasonable. I mean reasonable like as a timeline. That's what it looks like to me. Do you think we'll have another free fly so soon after Invictus? I don't think it'll be a free fly week, although if they had the servers all stable, maybe. I think they'll probably potentially have a free fly for 3.10's release, if they can get nice stable servers. I wouldn't expect to see a free flight for Alien Week. Any predictions on what data running gameplay will entail? So I think it will be a mixture of things. Data as cargo. You can store data in your ship, effectively like cargo, and it will be very similar to cargo missions, but they might have them interspersed with you stealing data, you going to like a facility like this mission that we're watching at the moment, where you take data somewhere and put it into your ship's computer. You might go salvaging it, go into other people's ships, get their black boxes, bam, you can copy their black box, or only take their black box if you've got data storage on your ship. Will there be in-game paint? Yes. At the moment, they've sort of like added skins and are adding more skins from patch to patch, which you can just place on your ships and remove them freely. However, in the future, there will be a full in-game customization system with painting to some degree of customization there. We're not going to have the ability to just draw like a Pernus on your ship, unlikely anyway, but you will be able to select some colours and accents, primary, tertiary, and a secondary colour, and accents on your ship, things like that. Potentially decals, potentially ship's name, and stuff like that. Aftermarket customization, that's known as. Also, the manufacturer customization that's on the website at the moment for the 300 series, that should be in game at some point for all ships when you purchase them from the actual manufacturer. Do you know how insurance will work in game? Only from what CIG have sort of said roughly, which is insurance-wise, we're going to see basically you lose your ship if you don't have insurance. That's effectively what we expect. But insurance is going to be available at a very minimal cost. There probably will be different types of insurance if you want to get not just your base hull insured, but your weapons and your systems insured as well. And I think lifetime insurance is just going to cover the very base hull of your ship. So I think there's going to be lots of different types of insurance. Will you be able to get cargo insurance as well? Maybe. Unconfirmed at the moment. We're awaiting more information. Do you think repair will be implemented the same time as salvaging? And if so, do you think we will see the Crucible released around the same time? No. Okay, so I don't think we'll see the Crucible released at the same time. I think that's further out. I have no idea how to say your name. C317IC. Perfect. Let's just say that. Or is it C3L7IC? Whatever your name is. Good job. Thank you very much for the money. Love your face. Very much appreciated. I think we'll probably see repair and salvage added at the same time in their first implementation. So my expectation at the moment for salvage and repair is the ability to use a cutting tool on the multi-tool to cut out components and weapons on ships and stuff and bits of ships and take them back to your ship. Yeah? And for when it comes to physicalized components on ships, being able to remove an item, put an item back in, so power plant or whatever, bam, bam, and then be able to change potentially subcomponents in it. So you'd have that as the first tier of repair, and you'd have that as the first tier of salvage. It's basically the same thing. Has there been an alien week before? Not really. I'm guessing it will be an alien ship sale? Yes, I'm guessing that as well, Dan. Starts this Friday, though. How do you think CIG will stop the game's file size from getting it too high with over 100 systems? Because a lot of those assets can just be, what, 100 gigs, 150 gigs worth of data on your computer. That's all they need to be able to build those planets and to display them. Yeah? Doesn't have to save all 100 planets individually crafted on your hard drive. It just needs to be able to build them. Massive broadside cannon module for my caterpillars so I can gallivant around with 4 hidden cannons and then raise the starboard doors and make them drench their breeches. Oh, piss their pants. I see what you did there. So that would be effectively the AQ ship. So they used to have ships that would pretend to be like bounty-laden ships with lots of treasure on, which would actually, when pirates assaulted, would turn out to be ships of war that they just went, right, take out the pirates. So that's effectively a Q ship. I do actually suspect we will see Q ships in game. Is CIG going to implement volumetric clouds soon in the game? There already is volumetric clouds used for certain things, but if you're talking about cloud tech for like Crusader and Orion, I suspect for Q4 we'll see that gas giant cloud tech. Can I claim a section of that glittering skull of yours? You can sort of like, well, I don't want to say yes, because then I think people will, once I die, will lay claim to parts of me, which which is weird, because I want to be frozen when I die. Maybe I'll have that one day as a Kickstarter or as a donation goal. I genuinely want to be cryogenically frozen when I die. Because I think I'm a fine specimen of human. Thank you very much for all the love. Very much appreciated. Good evening, dear BoredGamer. I'm interested in buying a ship, budget up to $130. What do you think, what do you suggest me getting? I'd like a ship that is a decent all-rounder. So your choices, in my opinion, are a Avenger Titan, a Cutlass Black. Yeah, those are your two main choices for $130. All-rounder, Cutlass Black's pretty solid. Can you gift Squadron 42 like you could gift ships? I think if you... I don't know. I suspect if you bought Squadron 42 as a package with real money, just real money, then you could gift it, probably. Can't confirm that, though. Is there any way of knowing when the 600i Explorer will become available again for purchase? Definitely for end of November. If they do their work by 3.11, then maybe there. It depends if they've had time to do their light rework of it. Is the Constellation series going to be reworked, and will the Taurus be released soon? So there's no secret Constellation series rework. Okay, they said there was no secret rework. The reason that the Taurus hasn't been put in game yet is because they didn't have the resources to put it into game, because they're all working on different things. I do think we'll see the Taurus by the end of the year, because I actually think it's quite a small project for them that shall fit in for them. You can gift game packages under $1,000. Yes. Not over $1,000, no. Are there any bounty hunting armors and clothing coming at any point? Yes, they were actually planned in-game last patch, I believe, or the patch before, but they're waiting to put the bounty hunter improvements in, and they're going to release the bounty hunter armors and clothing at the same time. Hopefully this year. Do you know if Vandal capital ships like the Driller will ever go on sale? I don't think so. I think they may be capturable in the future, though. We're talking long term in the future, though. When will they remove Armistice Zones? Once they've got the restricted area reworks done properly, once they've got all the defense mechanics and laws built up for the areas. So you probably won't have to wait too much longer for Armistice Zones to be removed, and then this will all be, sort of like around Port Olisar and all these other areas, they'll be run by NBC forces, by security, by defense turrets, by laws, and that sort of stuff, all governing those areas. Why not a Squadron 42 Alpha for everyone getting bored and having nothing to play? Because that's not the way they want to do it. They want to release a full game to everyone at once when it's ready. They're not compromising on Squadron 42, and they don't want to spoil it. Grizzly, thank you so much. Thank you very much for the bits. Very much appreciate it. That's a metric fuck ton of bits. Are you star? Thank you so much, sir. Hey, guys. I don't know why I made you speak like that, but that's how you speak now. Hey, my pledge has disappeared for the second time over the 2-year lifespan from my RSI account. Are you melting ships? Your pledge is part of a ship or game package. If you melt it, then you'll lose it. You can literally go in and see what's on your account, and you can also go into the details of what transactions have happened in your account. You can see what ships you've melted and stuff. So have a look there. See if you melted it. If it's just disappeared, but it's showing on your transaction list as something that should be there, and you haven't given it away, you haven't sold it, whatever, then contact customer service. Next ship after the C2? Don't know. There's a lot of ships they could be putting in the game. They haven't really said what the schedule for ships is. I'm hoping that we see the Polaris in the not too distant future. bits, Grizzly. You star. I'm glad that DC hasn't made me like the money cannon yet, or the bits cannon. Bits cannon's going to be like, maybe it fires lucky charms at me. Will we be able to travel to Pyro using quantum travel, or will we just... it's only going to be accessible via the quantum gate, the jump point. You won't be able to quantum travel there. It's far too far away. That said, is it a possibility you could quantum travel there? Like over a year or something? I don't think so. Do you think we'll be able to steal the $25,000 600i variant and go through the process to have its ship ID and stuff changed? Yes, I think that will be a thing. I think you will be able to re-register ships with some effort. Make them semi-legit. You'll be able to get someone else's stolen ship and then just have it and fly it around in the sort of like lawless sectors of space anyway without people going, this guy's stolen this ship. You know what I mean? What alien ships excite you is the Bounty Merchantman for the most part. That's the most exciting alien ship for me at the moment. Any idea when the Aegis Idris P aftermarket Warbond kit? Any idea why it's buyable in the shop still currently? Thought it was supposed to be gone after Fleet Week. Maybe it's just being accessible at the moment to concierge people in general. And people that have an Idris as well. I don't know why it's still accessible. Maybe they're just gone like, if you've got an Idris, you can buy it at any point at the moment. Maybe they said that. So for people that don't know, the Idris K kit is like a different weapon loadout for the Idris, including a big, proper beam. That kind of beam. Beam cannon. Instead of the rail cannon that the Emma has. Oh, thank you very much. Exotrick. Exo. That's going to be 3XO. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated for the monies. You star. Drake does not give a shit indeed. That is accurate. What else have we got here? With the capital ship docks remaining at stations after Invictus Week, as they have, does that signal that perhaps we could see another capital go flyable when docking goes online? So, there's two things here. Either they'll get removed with 3.10, or they're going to be used in 3.10. I mean, they could just stay there because they'll use them again in the future or whatever. But they might use them in 3.10 for potentially the Idris combat mission, which I'm hoping that makes 3.10. That was the Arlington gang mission. Maybe they're... I'm looking forward to fighting an Idris in game. That's all I can say. Will we get the breedings at some point? No. No. What do you think about a system-spanning mission to take friends on to show off the best parts of Star Citizen? Yeah. I suspect there will genuinely be tour missions for people like they've got the 600i or the 890 jump, literally touring things around. But I think it's a good thing to show people around Star Citizen. It's a very, very pretty tourist destination. And why do some ships' values increase with time? Because the way that they sell stuff, CIG, is that when they first go on concept sale, they sell it at its cheapest possible point, and then as it becomes closer to flyable, then that increases in price. Part of their monetization model. What is your favourite music track in Star Citizen? I like quite a lot. I've started to get much more of... I've started to really, really enjoy Darren Lamborn stuff as well. Petro is still Bay, but I quite like the Commons music from Petro. Optimus Explorers is good. There's loads of good ones. Oh. Does the CTU cost so much more compared with the Banner Merchantman, for example? So the Banner Merchantman hasn't had a price rise for a long time. It's one of the older, more one of the older ships price-wise. I expect the Banner Merchantman to go up a metric fuck ton at some point, especially when it's closer to release. Reliable. What are your feelings on the current direction for medical gameplay? Well, we don't have it in game at all, really, at the moment. Body dragging is a good step towards it. So, combat needs the ability for you to be able to be knocked down, to be stunned, to be bleeding out, and then someone to be able to save you. So you get shot, you don't just insta-die. You can sometimes jab yourself with a medipan. Someone else can drag you away, get you back up, put you in a ship, get you medical attention, whatever. So I certainly like that idea, and that sort of those elements. Being able to use medipens on other people, yeah, cool. Having more medical equipment for more specific medical tasks and different types of healing, cool, yeah, start putting that in game. When it comes to the different tiers of medical beds and stuff, obviously that stuff needs to be fleshed out a lot more before I can understand what's going on with it. But that's going to be to treat you for different sort of maladies. If Vandal ships are capturable, do you think we'll need to buy components to make them operable by human players? That's a good point. I don't know. I'm not sure to what extent Vandal ships will be capturable. Vandal ships are supposed to explode a lot when they get captured and things like that. It's hard to capture them. Obviously, there's reproductions made for them. Thank you very much for all the love. I've seen lots and lots and lots of people saying, "I love you, BoredGamer. I want to be just like you." Ooh, ooh. Like that. That's exactly how you guys speak. Thank you for all the viewers. Very much appreciated. That's a lot of people watching my old egg-shaped head. What else have we got? Next major roadmap updates for the next couple of years have been a few months since I've been on. What? 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 Yeah, they only seem to really do the next 6 to 9 months on the roadmap at the moment. I'm hoping that in the near future they expand out the Star Citizen roadmap to at least list all the features that need completion, even in just the most roughest of detail. It doesn't need to have a timeline on them. I just sort of like want to know what they've got in mind that needs to be completed. I think that would help hugely with the project. When we see 3.12/4.0 on the roadmap, well, 3.10 is going to be released, hopefully at the end of this month. So around then, maybe a week or two afterwards. We'll have to wait and see. It is stressful with the roadmap because the roadmaps are, although it does have CIG sort of plans and targets and goals for a lot of the stuff they want to put in patches, it does often change. And it can change at the last second. Like features can be pushed off, but I still think they're useful. Just look at the recruitment rewards. Do you actually get a javelin once you hit the highest rank in the recruitment system? Yes, but the javelin's not flyable in game. So I've got a javelin on my account, but I can't use it. Will we ever see more racing ships? I want to see a Tavern racer. I would expect we will see lots more racing ships, or at least some more racing ships. There's going to be lots of thrusters and engine changes and sort of racing tweaking as well in the future. Do you know when Pyro is scheduled? The last we heard that it was planned for 2020, but that was before lockdown, so it could have been delayed by a quarter or so. So Bored, quick question. Is there still a problem where ships you don't actually own get locked onto your account and I've bought the Vandal Scythe, but I have the ability to use it? So sometimes there's issues with the databases. Sometimes there's loaner ships for certain things. Bored, the people demand a new universe. What? A new universe? Why don't more ships have exterior utility slots? Well, we haven't seen to what extent all the slots will do things on ships and what systems there will be and what they're able to do everything yet. There's so many systems they still need to build out the core community systems. What can computer AI blades do? What can computer blades do? What do the utility slots actually do on the some of these ships? Like We don't know. We don't know to what extent all the different components work and do yet. Is there any information on how much the cargo capacity will be reduced in the battle measurement? No. Custom-made ships, question mark? I would love to see ship crafting. I know Disco Lando wants a more sort of like a splodged together ship. Shipjackers sound like in Squadron 42 they might have ships that are made out of lots of different parts of ships. When do you think the little ship on the Andromeda can be used? So, we're hoping it's going to be the same time that docking is available in 3.11. For those buying ships like the Idris, that is if they are sold out every time they are made available. How are people going to populate the shops with crew all NPC? Yes, some people, but some people are huge orgs. You join an org, crew someone else's Idris. That's my suggestion. Any word on crafting? No, so not really. Like they keep on implying that there'll be more and more crafting in game. And I'm looking forward to for that, but I'm not sure exactly to what level we're going to have crafting. Will it be munitions, ships? Will it be components? Or will it just be mostly moving stuff around and then changing some things into other things like fuel and making things with science? But I'd love to see the ability to basically be self-sustainable in a system without having to go back to lawful space, totally in the Wild West. Any idea when CIG will improve performance for slower and older PCs? They are literally building systems for that now. They're doing optimizations and improvements. They are building their Gen 12 renderer, which is going to be significantly more scalable. They've, if you've read the monthly report, they've been doing stuff to make sure that older PCs, slower PCs, will be able to play the game at a lot better, a lot higher frame rates than they currently can. So you'll see that over the next few quarters. I'm hoping that we see Vulkan by the end of the year. That'd be absolutely great if we do. So Vulkan integration in their Gen 12 renderer will just see for much better Star Citizen experiences and a very hardware neutral sort of like you don't have to worry about whether you've got AMD or Nvidia or whatever or Intel sort of hardware. It should be optimized for everything simultaneously, or it's optimized for Vulkan, which is hardware neutral. What's the latest update on when server meshing and other integral techs are due? It's different for all of them. They're working on the iCache at the moment. I'm hoping we see iCache this year. Full persistence and stuff like that should come with that or after that. Last we heard with server meshing is that they wanted it to be almost completed at the end of this year, but again, that was before lockdown. We are sort of waiting on CIG to release 3.10 and then to talk more about what the plans are for the second half of this year. Any chance of the UE Navy professions carrying over from Squadron 42? So I would expect you'll be able to work for and with the UE Navy in Star Citizen, in the Position universe, as missions and stuff. What have we heard on the progress of ship-to-ship and ship-to-station docking so far? So it's merged into a single feature now called docking, and it's planned for 3.11, which is the Q3 end of September patch. How did he put the suit into the closet? So this is a video. This is from CitizenCon 2019, and you can't put your suit into a closet yet. You will be able to at some point in the very near future, is the expectation. Physicalized components / well, it's physicalized inventory is actually what that's to do with, but. Any whispers regarding procedural roads, cities and outposts? No. I know they're building more and more of the procedural tech and getting the planets in better and better order. Procedural roads, though, are beyond them based just for biomes and dirt tracks. I don't think they've got proper procedural roads planned for the game in the way that you might think. I think they are going to be using a building system for them. So it won't be procedural, or it'll be semi-procedural, where they go link road from here to here, and it will build a road between two areas. I think that's the sort of way they're going to do it. In the same way they've got like the district system for cities, where they don't just go build a city here. They go, well, these cities here, these districts are industrial districts. These are habs and civilian. These are shops and commercial. Should I get a Carrack? I love the Carrack. But if you have to pay real money for it, consider getting it in-game when it's eventually available in-game. It's up to you, though. I love the character. One of my favourite ships. One of the best multi-role ships in the game, I think. Seeing the trend of buffing mission pay and nerfing cargo income, how are cargo pilots going to be able to hire escort pilots without going broke? That's a good point, Ted. They need to balance cargo risk and reward. I think it's because there's been issues with some cargo players being able to leverage huge amounts of very expensive cargo and being lucky with no crashes and no problems, being able to get huge amounts of money. I suppose you have economies of scale and inequality in sort of like any economic system, so that's going to happen whatever. But I think they sort of like they're looking to balance it, but they've gone the wrong direction in balance sometimes. After Squadron 42 is finished, do you think or want perhaps episodes based in other points in time? I'd love a campaign from the Human Tavern War. Oh, yeah, I think we might see mods and stuff for that, people doing their own in the far future. But yeah, I actually think that prequels and Tavern War sort of modules and things actually is quite a cool idea. Will they have random villages on planets sort of like... yeah, so there's... I believe the plans to have little shanty towns and outposts and stuff that are inhabited, yeah. Did they decrease payments for delivery missions? I thought mission pay up in general was up. What would be the biggest ship in Star Citizen? The Kingship's pretty massive. The not Redeemer. The Redemption is pretty massive. I think it's a 3-kilometer ship, the Kingship. Pretty big. Yeah, so I'd like to see a lot of the missions pay out a lot more. I mean, you'll see a lot of balance to this and a lot of dynamic systems going on for this in the future, so it sort of balances out at any given time. Will there be a new alien concept during the Alien Week? There might be. So let's talk about this. I'll talk about this and then we'll probably go do a quick lightning round and then go, because I need to eat and I need to check on my parents as well. We found out in This Week in Star Citizen that there was going to be a First Contact Day and the start of the festivities for Alien Week starting this Friday. And we hadn't heard about Alien Week really before then, but there's all of the narrative team are talking about alien races and First Contact and Alien Week and stuff like that on Friday at 5 PM UTC on the Star Citizen Twitch. So I will probably stream just before that. Yeah, so the expectation for Alien Week from me, this is just this is my. Well, I think we're all expecting a alien ship sale. That's going to be probably the main thing from Alien Week. Probably lots of lore posts about aliens and stuff like that too. But I would expect to see a big alien sale during Alien Week. Alien ships, and maybe talk about a bit of lore about aliens. Maybe a screenshot and video contest as well. Will we see an in-game event? I don't think so. Although, Alien Week, maybe that's going to be the time they unveil Xeno Threat, who are the anti-Xeno Pyro Pirates, and they're supposed to have an interest that attacks. Maybe it'll be that. I didn't even think about that for my video. I've only just occurred to me in my head now. Maybe they'll have Xeno Threat turn up then. Ooh. Who knows? But I would expect it at the very least, and that's sort of like wild expectations gone mad. But I'd expect at the very least to have a alien sale where we see the alien manufacturers, Apoa, Asperia, and then who are the other ones? Tavern. Well, we see the Tavern ships and the Banu ships as well. Yeah, so Alien Week starting this Friday. I'm expecting to see the Banu Merchantman, the Defender, the Koto Al and the Santok Yai, the Prowler, the Blade and Glaive, and the Scythe, potentially in limited numbers, the Nukes, and maybe even the Misk Reliant series all on sale. Because they use Cheyenne tech. Probably, if they do sell them, it'll probably be like starter packages a little bit cheaper for the Misk. It sort of makes sense in my head. Could we see a alien concept sale of some description of a new ship or straight to flyable? Yes, we could. And if they did, I suspect it will potentially be the Cheyenne cargo ship or the Tavern light fighter that they've previously talked about from CitizenCon. Be nice to see one of those, but it could be something entirely different. But yeah. Very much looking forward to 3.10. Anything particularly exciting for 3.10 that was newly announced? I've got the new features impounding. They got rid of surrendering. They had to push that back. It wasn't finished yet because they needed more AI work on it. Turrets, weapon updates, and general ship combat updates are being done, as are thruster efficiency curves. So you're going to see changes to the ship combat. You're going to see changes to aiming. You're going to see changes to ship's flight and atmosphere. Could it put Star Citizen's ship combat in a much better PvP and general gameplay experience, sort of better point for it? Yeah, it could. I'm hoping it doesn't make it worse, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Could we see some other ships or the Rock Grey Cat Industrial Buggy or something like that in 3.10? Yeah, I think we will see at least something straight to flyable for 3.10 beyond just the M50 getting updated and the P72 Emerald skin. There's a load of cool stuff coming in 3.10 as well with the new snipper rifle and electron pistol as well. They're pretty cool. The trading app, I think, is probably the biggest thing for me now. But they're going to get better terrain. You're going to get ocean shaders, better looking water. Body dragging's in there as well. Maybe some missions associated with that. Some FPS AI updates. Great. Grimhex 2.0. So the Grimhex is getting updated and upgraded into a more proper landing zone. So it's got like larger hangars and a race course and stuff there. I don't know if the race course is going to be operational in 3.10 though. There's new shops and items coming. So shops for the factory line in New Babbage. I think there's a knick-knack shop as well. And so some interesting things on sale there. Yeah, lots and lots of really interested to see what they've got for the flight model and combat updates. Just hoping they're exciting and good. I've got the restricted areas as well. So all we've seen for that at the moment is sort of like landing improvements, where at Lawville and Area 18, you're going to be, when you request a landing, you'll be guided in through like a landing corridor to land, which I think could be potentially quite good. We'll have to wait and see. Will we get the Idris mission? Will we get a mission where we're fighting an Idris either through Xeno Threat or the Arlington Gang? Maybe. I'm hoping so. We saw combat-ready capital ships at Idris and Javelin at Fleet Week, so I'm hoping that we see something like that for 3.10. Eddie Power as well, and the updated bartenders, the gold standard for potential social AI, the first iteration of that. It'd be interesting to see what Eddie Parr's mission is as the mission giver. But he's going to be at Wally's Bar. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited for 3.10. I'm interested to see what we're going to get for Alien Week starting Friday. Yeah, we've got the 100 series is confirmed for 3.11, or at least confirmed to be. They're trying to get it in for 3.11. Let's have a quick look through questions, and then I'll dash off. What are your thoughts on the current Vandal ships? The Glaive is supposed to be for veterans, while the Scythe is supposed to be more foot soldiery. Yet the Scythe is straight up better currently. You'll see that stuff get updated. And you'll see the AI in those ships change, so there'll be more expert AI in the Glaives, if you see what I mean. Some ships have wings. Will we ever see control services on ships that that improve control in atmosphere? You'll see different ships that are different in atmosphere based on the types of thrusters they've got and the setup they've got for that. When do you predict Star Citizen will come out? And what's your thought on the Star Runner? I think sort of beta feature complete 2025 at the moment. It's my expectation. Squadron 42, I'm thinking first half of 2021. Will bathrooms ever be functional? Yes, that's the plan. It's part of the hygiene, I believe, when they add it to the player status system. Are they ever going to reduce the number of rocks on the planet surfaces that ground vehicles are actually able to be fun to use? They're looking at that at the moment, and they're talking about potentially having better ground clearance for some vehicles, or some planets and moons much more able to drive around in open spaces on clearer moons and planets. So they either reduce the rocks in some areas or they increase them in others or whatever. But they're looking at it and they want some areas that you can just, zip and go crazy. Tavern, thank you very much. Have a great day, mate. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for the money. And thank you very much for everyone that was supporting me today with a boat ton of cash chucked at me. I need to update that ticker. That's probably got another $500 or so in it now. I will be hopefully playing against John Crew and some of the other Foundry 42 members at 40k at some point in the future. I'm building an Adaptus Mechanicus Knight Army with proper big boy. That's just part of it. It's just a bit of it. Lots of knights in my army. Lots of. I'll paint some of these up at some point and build them when I've got all the parts. You'll see lots of Serestus Knights and Action Knights, and I'll get at least photos and stuff of that. I'll see if I'm able to record it. Something to look forward to after lockdown. Any word on when they'll fix the autopilot for restricted areas? Not when I'm landing in the hangar. So there's updates to the restricted areas for 3.10 with those landing corridors. #wave, #sleep. What do you think of the local area map? And is it possible? What? Oh, so there will be other ways of navigating. I'm hoping that we see a mini map or a roll down map as a feature. That would be very exciting. What else we got? Do you think Alien Week we might see new Vandal ship models for the Squadron 42 Christmas video? I really want them to update the Vandal ships with the new Vandal models, but I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know when that's going to be in game. Could we see it for Fleet Week? Maybe. CIG haven't really talked about it though. Right. Oh. With everyone shifting focus to theatres of war, what's going on with the exploration mechanics? People aren't shifting to theatres of war. There's only 10 devs working on theatres of war. Exploration mechanics, I believe they're building them out with enhanced scanning, and general points of interest are being built out at the moment. Are there any updates on how many players there'll be on one server? As I said before, they want to get all of them in the servers, all of them if possible. They're building full persistence in the iCache and stuff for server meshing at the moment, which will allow for that. Aside from an alien ship sale, what other events do you think CIG will have waiting for us during Alien Week? I don't know. I mean, it's possible they could do some sort of in-game event or Xenothreat event or something like that, but I wouldn't expect it straight after Invictus launch week. I suspect it's more a celebration of alien ships. Maybe they will give the ability to have some of these alien ships to fly for free or attributed to accounts, but I think it's more going to be about a sale, in my opinion anyway. Raptor and Lana. By control services, I mean ailerons. What? And not just thrusters to control flight and atmosphere. I want to see wings and lift matter. Oh, possible, question mark. Yes. So, in 3.10, there is better modeled drag and aerodynamics. So I think that lift and stuff like that is going to start to matter a lot more. We'll have to see how they evolve the flight model for planets and stuff, and exactly what they fully simulate and which they sort of like artificially just go there. How many systems do you think we'll get come release? I think they're going to plan for like 30 systems for an actual release. Are you able to purchase ships by emailing the company, or are you forced to wait when they become available from the shop? I think you can probably email customer service, and some situations they will make those pledges available to you. Thank you very much for all the love. Very much appreciated. Are you going to start stripping along with shilling when money is thrown at you? Maybe. I think I'd get less viewers. He's a shill. I am indeed a shill. You think CIG should implement a permanent ship showroom where any player can go and tour and browse all flyable ships at any time? I think they want to have that, and what the idea would be is that you'd go into a ship showroom, and then you'd get a token to be able to use that in Arena Commander. So you could fly that ship artificially in Arena Commander. I think that's the idea they wanted there. In a shipyard post, CIG said they would lock components to ship classes. When do you think we'll see that implemented? After they get physicalized components in game. I think it'll be a step after physicalized components. Is there going to be some sort of revive system where you can call a medic and someone could accept a mission to revive you? I think maybe you can lie there and await revival in some situations. Like when you get captured, the current thinking of when you get stunned or knocked out or whatever and someone puts you in a prisoner pod, is that you can just instantly respawn in prison.
Touch it.
Oh, touch my monkey, touch it. What? Ladis. I mean, I appreciate the resub, so thanks. No worries, mate. Appreciate it. I will touch it. Of course I will. So you can just, after you've been captured and put in an escape pod, you can sleep or you can wait there. And I think maybe you're about to do the same once you're knocked down, bleeding out. Maybe you're just about to go respawn or wait, and then someone might be able to come and revive you. Whether that will generate missions? Your Emperor is dead. Oh. Is there any future option of a free-to-play model, like players who won't be able to drive spaceships but will populate the space around the verse, who could be hired workforce? They haven't mentioned anything for. They have mentioned something about this. They basically said it's unlikely they'll ever release a package without a ship. Could there be a free-to-play model? I mean, maybe in the future. I can't. Maybe. I just think it's unlikely. It's a buy-to-play game. Buy $45, but there's no subscription. So, any chance you'll start calling yourself Nord Shadow Gamer? Oh, instead of just Nord Gamer in your outros. I'll build it in. I'll build it in. Is modularity in game truly dead? No. So expect modularity, expect there to be a load of modularity, and work on modularity after they finish physicalized components. How long do you think until the G12 Warbond sale will last? I'd expect it till the end of this month, until the end of June. That seems reasonable. 6 weeks is typically how long they used to sell stuff for, right? Is the Retaliator expect to get a rework? Not to my knowledge, beyond light sort of updates to materials and stuff like that. Are CIG sticking with Lumberyard? Yes, although it's their own modded version of Lumberyard, I suppose. Hey mate, what do you think about the Carrack's SCM and afterburn speed? It's by far the fastest large ship. Can we expect some changes? I expect changes, but I'm not sure to what. I like it being nice and fast. I want it to be nice and fast anyway. People have rightfully disapproved of Theaters of War aiming to have Star Marine performance. And it's not exactly a good base to aim for. What's your views? Did you get to play Tau? Yes, I've played Tau in 2 playtests now. Well, 3 playtests. CitizenCon and 2 Ivocades playtests. They're obviously aiming to get as high performance as possible. Yeah, that's the idea. In the short term, they want to get it to a certain stage, and then they're going to want to then get it to a stage where it's like a normal FPS game, which is obviously a ways off at the moment. They haven't polished Star Citizen's performance yet. They haven't got the Gen 12 render in. They haven't got Vulkan supported. I think once they get there, they'll actually be able to have this in a significantly better state when it comes to frame rates. What's your favourite alien race? The Banu. I like the Banu because they're tradey and economy-based, and I'm like that. Well, actually, it's probably humans, because I always play a human anytime I have a choice of alien race. I'll always try and play a human. Because I can relate more to them. What are your thoughts on Star Citizen's claims to be fame being visuals and some companies beginning to catch up due to the length of development? I think that you'll see some updates to the way Star Citizen looks once they have the Gen 12 renderer in and everything polished. Like, you're seeing a pretty rough experience. There's loads of effects and stuff they can add to make stuff look better. But yeah, I don't think there's an issue that Star Citizen won't look good when it's released. I think they'll be fine there. Lots of people were saying the new Unreal demo and stuff, and I was like, that is just a demo. That's not a game using that. That's a demo to show off what the engine can potentially do in perfect circumstances. Do that for Star Citizen to make it look pretty fucking amazing. Right. I am going to dash off now. Is there any desperately important questions? People have, sorry, talked about... have CIG ever said how much fuel will cost to jump from system to system? No, they have not. We don't know how much fuel it will cost to jump with a jump point yet. Will there be a free fly for Alien Week? We don't know. We don't even know if there's going to be a sale, but I would expect a sale. Is it possible to play on 2 accounts at the same time? Yeah, you could multi-box. I don't know how you'd do that, but you could play on 2 accounts. What do you mean? When do you expect the Hercules to be flight ready? Q4 2020 is what it looks like. So the end of the year, this patch. End of year patch. Are you going to be able to manufacture things for sale, like food, missiles and stuff and objects? As I said earlier, I think I'd love that. I want that. I think they're definitely going to be handled at least by the economy side and the quanta side of things. You're about to take it to factory nodes, and those effectively will be simulated to be bought and made and stuff, so that it affects the economy. I'm hoping that we can manufacture those as players as well. I'm really looking forward to having the Idris, even just to fight against in the game, yeah. Oh my god. Give us more ships! I haven't got any ships! Although I do have a Prowler giveaway this month. What else have we got here? Should we expect any new carriers in the near future? I don't think so. I think people are wanting a giant Crusader ship, which we'll probably get in the future. What else we got? What do I need to do to become an Evocati? You need to participate in the PTUs and on the issue council as much as possible, and then you get invited to the Evocati. I just want to get shot by a big gun. I mean, getting shot by an Idris beam cannon would be pretty cool. So I've only got through probably about 60% of the questions this time, because there was just so many. But thank you very much for them all. I'm sorry I couldn't get through them all. I only planned to go for an hour and 45 minutes. We've gone for an hour, 2 hours and 15. But I will, as soon as Zin is working for me full time, which should be potentially at the end of this month, hopefully at the end of the month or beginning of next month. It's the sort of plan at the moment, roughly. It's going to be dependent on a few things. If I can get, I'm waiting for a business account, and I'm waiting for pensions and stuff to get set up, and some stuff with my accountant to get done. But yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to stream a lot more and actually do gameplay and have a more stable game. But yeah, hyped for Alien Week. Don't know exactly what it's going to bring, but I would expect alien ships. If it's more than that, if it's a free fly, fucking amazing, but I doubt it. If it's an in-game event with Xeno Threat or with Idris turning up or something like that, or just another expo, that would be cool. Right. Anywhere that the Ezra rover fits, the G12 should fit. That's what they said. And yeah. So thanks very much for watching. Very much appreciated. If you want to further support the channel, you can become a BoredGamer channel member from the join button below on YouTube. You can sub on Twitch. You can direct donate, which also helps. You can become a Patreon. But just turning up and asking a question, giving feedback, poking me anytime. You don't have to ask questions, just in the live streams. You can get me at contact@boredgamer.co.uk, or you can go on my Discord and give me a poke there. I'm happy to answer questions or get feedback for other videos and stuff like that. Oh, thank you very much for gifting a sub there, Grizzly. You striker. Thank you very much. You're a star. But yeah, very excited for what 3.10's got to give us. Hopefully at the end of June. Oh, please, CIG, no more deployment issues. I don't want to not be able to log on and all my characters to explode. Hopefully they'll be able to solve those problems, and that's I think what some of the maintenance is going on at the moment is addressing. Let us go and host someone else. I'll share the love. I'm doing all right. I'm a little bit tired and a little bit overworked. No, that's me. I'm literally just bought this. Let's raid me. Let's give Maya some love. So raid Maya next time. But thanks very much. Thanks for all the money. Thanks for all the fish, guys. I'm going to be bathing in that money later. In my fucking Scrooge McDuck YouTuber money bin, mate. I'm just going to give you my stream. No, that's not here. Cutty does do everything. Cutty is fantastic multi-role ship. But thanks so much for watching. Genuinely, very much appreciated. You guys allow me to basically make videos on computer games every day and talk about Star Citizen. So I hope you have a great week. What day is it today? Tuesday. Hope you have a great week. Hope you have a great Alien celebration. I love your faces. You take care. Peace out. And Kraken. Yeah, indeed. Whatever. Bye, guys.